Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is now offering more plea deals in that RICO case. A local paper reporting, quote, at least a handful of the now 18 defendants have received offers from the district attorney's office. This after one of Trump's co-defendants took a deal and pled guilty on Friday afternoon. Experts saying that this is a textbook prosecution move in a RICO case, offering deals to lower-level defendants in a bid to move up the chain. There's also big news from day 2 of Trump's civil fraud trial in New York today. The judge imposing a limited gag order on Donald Trump. This comes after Trump attacked the judge's clerk on his failed social media platform. Trump is now forbidden from writing any posts, emails, or public remarks about members of court staff. The judge said if Trump violates this order, there would be serious sanctions, although he did not elaborate. One of the prosecution's key witnesses is Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen. And on Monday, we saw some brand new deposition testimony from Cohen.
He wanted to be higher on the Forbes list. And he then said, I'm actually not worth $6 billion. I'm worth $7 billion. In fact, I think it's actually now worth $8 billion with everything that's going on. Alan and I were tasked with taking the assets, increasing each of those asset classes in order to accommodate that $8 billion number.
Trump family lawyer Clifford Robert attacking Michael Cohen, saying, quote, Michael Cohen, when you talk about credibility, you will have a guy who lied to everyone, a convicted felon. Michael Cohen is back with me. Michael, first, this gag order, the first, I suspect and predict of many, but how quickly will Donald Trump violate this gag order?
Probably before we all wake up. You know, the problem with Donald is he's like a petulant child. As soon as you tell him you cannot do this, he's going to figure out a way to do it. It becomes his nature. If you tell him no, he wants to turn around and say, I can do whatever I want. I'm more important. I'm bigger. I'm stronger than you. I'm going to do anything that I want. I would have liked to have seen from Judge Engoron what type of penalties that he will impose. Rest assured, before this trial is over, there are going to be multiple violations by Donald because, again, he can't help himself. And you know what? It's more than just the clerk or the staff of the court. We've already seen now, he's already done it to Fani Willis. He's already done it to Tish James. He's done it to Alvin Bragg. He's done it to Jack Smith. He's done it to myself. He's done it to a whole slew of individuals because like a mob boss, let me tell you what he's doing. He's sending a message. Unless you've ever been on the other side of one of his tweets or X's or Truth Social posts, whatever we call them these days, unless you've been on the other side of it and you have to deal again with these MAGA maniacs who are reading into what Trump is saying, even though it may not be as overt as you think, they're reading it the way that they want to, and they put your life, they put your family's life, they put everyone in danger. That's what Donald is doing. He's sending one of those mob-like codes in order to obstruct justice and witness tamper.
So the attacks on your credibility, Michael, they aren't new. You've heard them over time. But what's your reaction to Trump family lawyer Cliff Robert calling you a, quote, unreliable witness?
You know, just wait to see. Obviously, in another week or two, you're going to see me sitting there in that courtroom, taking the stand, attempt to impeach my credibility. Do you think that Cliff Robert wasn't there during the deposition that you just showed? He was. Show me something that's improper. Show me something that's inaccurate. The answer is, hey, Cliff, there isn't. Because one of the things that I do is I bring the documents, I bring the corroborating testimony that's there. I'm not asking you to believe me, because believe me, nobody believes you either. Nobody believes anybody. I'm bringing the goods. The goods have actually been brought, and at the end of the day, Judge Engoron will evaluate the documents, the testimony by the multitude of witnesses to make a determination as to how much money is due and owing, because he's already ruled on the issue of liability. This is a damages only case. By the way, not too dissimilar to my lawsuit against Donald for the legal fees that, by the way, Cliff Robert was part of that case too, and they lost.
And Trump lost that. So, Michael, quickly, I'm going to play something for you. This is Donald Trump saying that he'll testify when the time is right. Take a listen.
Mr. Trump, will you be testifying?
Yes, I will. At the appropriate time, I will be. I think it's going very well. Everybody was given financial statements. The financial statements are extremely strong.
Chris Kye is looking miserable and Alina Habba looking away when he's saying that. I'm sorry, I had to laugh. Do you actually expect Donald Trump to testify live at this trial?
Could you imagine how bad the lawyer must be? Not Cliff Robert, not Alina Habba, not Chris Kye. You would have to be the worst lawyer on the planet to put Donald Trump on the stand. Look at what he did in his testimony with E. Jean Carroll. He himself destroyed his own case by testifying. The problem is Donald doesn't remember what the truth is because it has been stretched and pulled and twisted so many different ways. He truly doesn't remember what he's talking about. And so there's a big difference when you're pulling the wool over your MAGA supporters, when you're acting this way to the press. It's very different than when you're on the stand and you've taken the oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Michael, it's not just Donald Trump who's at trial here. Eric Trump and Don Trump Jr. I mean, these are defendants, right? Multiple defendants. I call them Trump's fail sons. So they're also accused in this case, and they've been dependent on their father for years. Take a quick listen to them as well.
We've also learned from under him. I've been there 16 years now. I mean, we understand how this business works.
And everything that we've ever done with our father, we've, done together, and, we're there by his side all the time because we love the man.
Ooh, Michael, making fraud a family affair is in the Trump DNA, but do you foresee a scenario where either of those two fail sons figure out that they're going down with a gigantic sinking ship?
Well, Donald already threw Eric under the bus in a statement that he had given not too long ago. The question, of course, becomes which one of the two favorite sons will end up being the one to, potentially take the bullet for Donald. I would suggest that it would be Don before Eric. But then again, that's just from prior experience. Donald doesn't care if both of his sons end up incarcerated so long as it protects him. Because remember, in his mind, he is the king, and all hail the king, and everyone, including the children, owe their fealty to him. That's the mentality of the man.